Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, August 19th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines today in Parliament put forward a resolution to enter into an agreement with the NIS Board to raise a loan from the National Insurance Fund in the amount of $15 million to liquidate outstanding contributions owed by the government to the NIS Fund. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves explains that under the NIS Act, where an employer deducts employee contributions but does not pay it over, on the occasion of paying benefits, the NIS must make the payments as long as the evidence exists that the employee paid their contributions. However, Dr. Gonsalves explains that any debt incurred by the NIS becomes part of the public debt.
The government owes the NIS certain sums of money in respect of the contributions. And rather than have the matter remain as a debt simpliciter, we have come here in this resolution to raise that sum of $15 million by the issue of treasury notes, which would be an investment for the NIS to be paid on an ongoing basis over a 10-year period at 4.5%.
Dr. Gonsalves further explains that some $1.7 million is required monthly to meet NIS payments since the government raised contributions last year. But in the context of a tight fiscal situation, he says that the government took the decision to cover other bills and return to Parliament to explain how his government intends to deal with the outstanding monies owed to the NIS.
I prefer at the end of every month to be able to pay the $1.7 million, but since the December crisis, the December disaster, and even a little before, but particularly since December, when in the aftermath of this disaster, we have, as I said in the letter to the IMF, that we have made sure that we take care of all immediate essential things. And that we are making sure that we come to the people to tell them what we have been doing and how we intend to solve this challenge.
A proposal has been put forward to further clean up the voters list, to have persons deleted who were registered before January 1st, 2004 and have not updated their registration during the 10-year period. With the third quarterly voters list published back in July this year, totaling 105,919, a number of concerns were raised among some Vincentians, including leader of the opposition, Anne Eustace. However, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves, in his capacity as the Minister of Electoral Matters, announced today in Parliament that while the names of deceased people were removed from the list, it has not impacted the numbers of registered voters. Dr. Gonsalves explains that among those without the new ID cards are Vincentians who may have migrated, but without sufficient evidence, it was difficult to determine if this was in fact true or not.
In other words, what she's asking is that as of January the 1st, 2004, everyone who has been registered before that period of time, we delete them from the voters list. But to do that, we are going to require an amendment of Parliament, an amendment to the Representation of the People Act in Parliament. We may disagree on January the 1st, 2004. We may say January the 1st, 2001. But at least we will get persons who have been away for so long and who are not here, that we keep the voters list largely for those who are here. And we can make an announcement, give a particular period of time, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time is, to get that going.
Dr. Gonsalves says he fully supports the proposal to have the voters list cleaned up.
It's a proposal which is being put forward. I find personally the proposal to be an attractive one, and I believe it is a matter which both political parties in Parliament and the supervisor of elections should sit down to discuss, and if we agree on that, we come here with it. I don't want to come here with a proposal by the supervisor of elections, though it makes eminent sense to me.
Candidates from St. Vincent and the Grenadines performed better in this year's CSEC examination when compared to the rest of the region. Senior Assistant Registrar, Examinations Development and Production Division at CXC, Dr. Charles Mayenga, explains that this country recorded an overall pass rate of 66% compared to 61% from the rest of the region.
21 out of 32 units, you had a better performance compared to the region. That's wonderful work. We are looking at overalls, and that's what really matters. It's not just 1 or 2 subjects here where you have 100, but so many of the subjects. Try to bring them together so that you have all the subjects. Which are some of these particular subjects? You can see the list. They range from Riches Education, Agricultural Science Double Award, Building Technology, Construction that I've mentioned, Physical Education. You have all the subjects listed there: physics, chemistry, French, geography, principles of accounts, where you did quite very well, those subjects that as I mentioned.
And while the Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, continues to record a decline in the overall number of candidates writing the CSEC examinations, the number of candidates from St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to increase. Registrar of CXC, Acting Glenroy Cumberbatch, explains that the overall number of candidates sitting the exams peaked back in 2011, but since then there has been a steady decline. However, Cumberbatch states that the numbers for St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been encouraging.
If you also look at the performance over the numbers of entries over the years, we will see that CSEC peaked in 2011 with about 150,000 candidates, and the decline has been steady, so we're at 140,000 candidates now for CSEC examinations. The reason why it is going down, we are not quite sure, but we will try to research it more to find out exactly why it is going on. At the same time, the number of subjects taken by any one candidate is increasing. So we now have each candidate taking about 4 subjects, as opposed to some years ago when we had the average was about 1.9 or about 2 subjects per candidate. So we're having fewer candidates, but more subjects being taken by those fewer candidates. This is it for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Despite the decline in CSEC, St. Vincent and the Grenadines steadily improving year on year in the number of candidates who are writing the exam.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been featured among the top in the region for candidates showing competency in the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Competence, CCSLC. Speaking at the official release of the CXC examinations results yesterday at the Peace Memorial Hall, CXC Registrar Acting Glenroy Cumberbatch says that the data show that both males and females from St. Vincent and the Grenadines performed better than their counterparts throughout the region.
In terms of competent, we have about 60% of those persons are competent. Females in St. Vincent is much higher than that. It is 65%. So in terms of those showing competence in CCSLC, there are more people in St. Vincent, or a higher percentage of people in St. Vincent, who are certified as being competent than for the rest of the region. It is not so, however, it is also so for the males. The males in St. Vincent about 62%, whereas the males for the region is about 56%. So the males are doing better than the rest of the region, and the females in terms of competence.
Persons have been given the reassurance that the certifications they receive from the Caribbean Examinations Council (CXC) are of good standing and are on par with other bodies worldwide. CXC's Registrar Acting Glenroy Cumberbatch explains that the examination body, through the assistance of a UK-based company, sought to have a comparative index conducted to determine how it ranked worldwide, particularly as it pertains to the CCSLC exam. Cumberbatch says the move to have the comparative index done after 40 years of operations in the region was extremely necessary.
Any qualification you get in CCSLC would be equivalent to grade 9 in Australia, grade 9 in Canada, key stage 3 or grade 9 in UK, and grade 9 in the US. So for those people who felt it had no value, now you can recognize that it has value outside of the Caribbean and within the Caribbean. It is also important to know that if your persons are taking about 4 subjects, CSEC subjects, that it is necessary for them to have some evidence of the competence they would have developed throughout school. If you're leaving school with 2 CSEC subjects and you have nothing to show for all those years you spent in secondary school, it shows that you are underprepared for the world of work or for further education. But if you do CCSLC, which is a range of areas, social studies, English, mathematics, science, and foreign languages, then you have something to show whether you're competent or master in those skills for which you're not certified at the CSEC level.
Coming up, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves to source more smartphones for primary school teachers here. More stories on the local scene when SVGTV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has indicated that he may have to source more smartphones to distribute to primary and secondary school teachers here who recently participated in an ICT training workshop. While speaking at yesterday's official release of the May-June 2014 CAPE and CSEC results, Gonsalves says while 1,400 cellular phones were being made available to the teachers, he has been advised by Digicel's country manager that there has been a delay in the arrival of the phones, which will now see them arriving in September. According to the Prime Minister, 700 phones each will be designated to primary and secondary school teachers, but he wants to ensure that all the teachers in the primary schools receive a phone.
So that's 1,400 phones, 700 for the secondary school teachers, and 700 in the primary, but I might have to buy another 200 or so for the primary because I want everybody in the primary school to have one.
Minister of Information, Communication Technology, ICT, Camilo Gonsalves, has publicly extended congratulations to the SVG National Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, for winning the Connect the Caribbean ICT project of the year 2014. From the Caribbean Association of the National Telecommunication Organization, CANTO, young Gonsalves offered the congratulatory remarks at today's meeting of Parliament.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines won the CANTO Award this year for our implementation of the SMART project. And the SMART project is a really phenomenal, Mr. Speaker, combination of hardware, software, and internet access, whose epicenter is the technical division of the community college at Arnersville. The SMART project is designed to have, on one hand, new tertiary level courses in programming and software development and app development, and also to provide internet connectivity to people of lesser means who cannot afford the standard cost of internet in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So one facet of the SMART project is to have this subsidized internet where 340 Vincentians will pay only $10 a month for internet.
The lack of exposure is said to be one of the main hindrances affecting Vincentian youths from developing their skills in information and communication technology. ICT teacher at the St. Martin's Secondary School and director of the Science, Technology, Engineering and Math program, that's the STEM, Petrus Gums, says while the children here know how to use their laptops and iPad, they are unaware as to how to create ideas that will allow them to better utilize the devices.
Most of our kids here in St. Vincent, when you see them, they are more users of technology, but we want them to start become creators of technology. And as we move along today and I start to show you what is some of the product that was done and happened throughout the STEM program, you will definitely understand where I'm getting at.
Here's a look at another idea which was produced during the recently concluded STEM summer camp.
Work, completely three-dimensional. From this, you notice you have a little city around it and you have water reflecting as well. The amount of work that this child put into this, I myself don't have the time to do that. And some of us will not have the time, but that is his interest. Now, we're looking at the end product here, and if you go down a little bit more to the volcano that he has, he put in his own lava inside there to replicate what a volcano should really look like. That is his creativity. Now, please don't look at the end product, because the amount of work that this child put into the work is beyond what some of us would normally do for our own work. He has to go home and research, he has to go home and read, he has to discuss with other people online who are as advanced as him in terms of development and create what he has created here. Put from your iPhone, please. Yeah, you're waiting for it. So here he is directly interacting with the world that he created. Bear in mind, all of this was done on their own. If you ask them, they will tell you, I had no input in this.
Meantime, Minister of ICT Camilo Gonzalez has commended Director of STEM Petrus Gums for what he described as a successful summer camp. Gonzalez also commended the students who took time out of their summer to participate in the program.
Those students had their sort of their graduation, their certificate giving ceremony last week, and they were able to show off what they managed to do in those 5 weeks, and it was mind-blowing, Mr. Speaker. Some of the students have developed computer games that are of the highest quality in a variety of fields. Some of them have designed, built, and programmed robots to do a variety of tasks. I sat and saw them have a robot race, Mr. Speaker, where they 3 teams of students built robots that raced across the floor to pick up a can of Pepsi, turn around, bring it back, put it down, and then go and do another task. And these were all designed from scratch and programmed by these young students, some as young as 11 years old, who did this.
Telecommunications provider Lime today awarded 7 scholarships to students entering secondary schools at the beginning of the new school year. Marketing manager at Lime, Nikayla Williams, says the scholarships are to help economically challenged students. Williams notes that each year Lime contributes up to $50,000 towards the educational development of students here.
This year's new recipients are as follows. So from Lime we have Khalil De Silva, who's going to the boys' grammar school, and he is the son of Sophia Williams. And because we had 1 internal scholarship this year, we extended externally to have 3 new ones. So for external, our new recipient is Fayana Daniel. She's going to the girls' high school, and she's the daughter of Fayon Daniel. Jamal Pope, who is going to the boys' grammar school, and he is the son of Sharnette Pope. And Deandra Brown, who is the daughter of Dahlia Brown, And she is also going to the girls' high school. And of course, the 3 finalists from the Limes Lion Public Speaking Competition from 2012, because there was no competition next year. So we are looking forward to adding another 3 this year.
With 2015 marking the 250th anniversary of the Botanical Garden, a series of activities has been planned, which will commence this month and run through next year. Curator at the Botanical Garden, Gordon Shallow, says the activity started with the launch of the garden's website and will be followed by a Moonlight Back in Time evening on September 8th.
On October 27th, which is Independence Day, we earmarked to have a floral competition that would be based on national colors and symbols, and this would be for the general public, persons wishing to compete. Those are the pre-anniversary activities. Beginning 2015 on January 23rd, to commemorate the arrival of Captain Bligh with the breadfruit and other many specimens, we have a parade in that commemoration from the Kingston Harbour to the Botanical Gardens that would be displayed on a float and such. Also with that, we plan to have, and by we I realize that I may have missed out, that the Board of Directors for National Parks had given out the mandate to form a board for the anniversary committee. And the board of the anniversary committee, just to give you a bit of background, consists of persons from the National Trust, from Ministry of Tourism, National Parks, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance. Those are the key persons, or persons from those key institutions.
Shallow notes that throughout the year 2015, it is their aim to have every school child visit the garden.
It is a very ambitious task, and the key to that is that we realize that the future of any country or any institution or any body is the young people. And we want to be able to have them knowledgeable on the history and the existence of the botanical gardens. Also, possibly to inspire others to go into that general direction of agriculture or horticulture.